Okay, so I want to talk about this poor little worn out looking machine. This is a Janome My Lock 204D, and she looks worn out for a reason. Actually, she looks pretty good, I must say. She looks pretty good. She is close to 20 years old, and she is the only machine in my shop that is a home machine. It's made and marketed for home sewing. She's a home machine. She's not a commercial machine, but she is used like a commercial machine on the daily. And like I said, she's close to 20 years old, and I've probably only had her service twice. Okay, so this is not this is not a recommendation for how you service your machines, but I pretty much oil her, and you know, every now and then I clean the dust out. But you know, look at her, she's pretty dusty. That's pretty bad. It's pretty filthy. But anyways, I just wanted to go over this machine for you because I know it's a popular machine, and I thought I could kind of help some people out with it. So yeah, I do kind of have it sitting on this kind of stuff just to keep the vibration down. And I have her always set to do that skinny little rolled hem, so she doesn't do that that wide serge. You can have her on the regular serge, or you can have her on the rolled hem, and you can see the little red button there. It slides back to be on the rolled hem. So she is used with a single needle, not two. One single filthy needle. She's just so beautifully aligned that I rarely even have to change that needle. I should be changing it all the time, and I don't have to. Like, there's just never really a problem with her. So what I do with all my machines, really, just to make stuff easy, even though I use the machines constantly, I still like to put my own personal guides on them. So I have her set up for the type of fabric that I most commonly serge off. I most commonly put the rolled hem on like the under layer of a wedding gown. Is the most common application for this. You can also do like hankies and stuff like that if people want custom hankies. But so what I've done is you can see the circles here and how they're kind of pretty much straight up. So what I did was I threaded her, the common thread that I use at Gutermann, and I circled where the tensioners need to be for it to sew perfectly. And this is for when I'm doing a regular rolled hem 1.5. Okay, so I also put a little box around that, the differential feed. So just in case if this gets knocked, I literally never change this because I just do the same thing with it so much. So I have it on that. Now, I do know that if I'm going to go from rolled hem, which is pretty short, like you see we're kind of near the end there. If I go from rolled hem to like a longer stitch length, see it says here, stitch length. If I go to like a longer stitch length, I know, let's see, there's the mark. I know that these are going to have to be loosened, okay? So this is just something for those of you who are still mystified by sergers. Do know that your stitch length really changes things with the tension, okay? So if you're going to get this set up for how you most commonly use it, you want to do it on R and get it set up for how the tensioners are perfect on your most common fabric. Everything's set how you want. Mark it. Remember that. But then remember that if you need to do, like, you know, some of those inner linings, they just go on like for miles, and you want a nice long stitch length so that you can hem it really fast. You're going to crank it up to like 3 or something. Now, if you do that, these tension knobs, you need to change them. Okay, so what I'm going to do, remember with numbers for sewing, low is loose, high is tight. low, loose, high, tight. They rhyme, high, tight. Okay, so the numbers, low is loose, high is tight. If you're going to get a longer stitch length, you need a looser tension. Okay, so I'm going to turn all these down a little lower, kind of equally. I went down like 1.5. All of these because I made my stitch length longer. If I change everything together like that every time, I'm never going to struggle with my tension. I kid you not. This thing is so consistent. It does not behave like a home sewing machine. I generally hate home sewing machines and would love to throw them out the window pretty much. But this machine is definitely not counted in that category for me. This one is consistent just like a commercial. So anyways, I would put it back on my favorite circles if I was done doing that nice long stitch, and then it would sew perfectly again. For those of you who are not familiar with commercial versus home machines are so finicky and they will drive you up a wall. Commercial machines generally are not like that. They're generally very, very consistent. They generally do one thing perfectly thousands and thousands of times. Home machines generally will do like 30 things kind of halfway decently 100 times, and then you got to get it serviced or buy a new one. That's pretty much how I feel about home machines, but that's not how this one is. This one is having an identity crisis. It really thinks it was made like for manufacturing. So I treat it just like a commercial machine. It does not get hauled off on the regular to a really expensive sewing machine doctor and gets adjusted and, you know, pampered and all that. That does not happen to this machine. This machine gets a few drops of oil and then it's got to keep working. So anyways, I just can't say enough good stuff about it, but I just wanted to mention this machine to you because being a professional seamstress, for some reason, people ask me all the time as a home sewer, what should they get for a home sewing machine? And I'm like, oh man, like, I don't even know where to begin. That's like asking like a NASCAR driver, you know, what new little car should I buy? Like, what they do is so different from what is commonly marketed for hobbyists. So I don't really know what to say, but I do usually say Janome is my jam for the home style machines, and I do just kind of let them know, like, I can't promise that every machine is going to turn out like this because they don't normally. But my Janome My Lock 204D has been awesome. So I wanted to mention it for that, just because it's such a common question. But then I also wanted to go over the stuff about the tension versus the stitch length and just how critical that is. Okay, so let me even take it to this extent. If I regularly, as in, you know, once or twice a week, had to change from the rolled hem to the regular serge, the 2 needles, and I really had to just wonk around with everything on this machine. If I had to do that on a regular basis, I would actually buy a second serger and I would have it sitting, you know, right beside this one. And every time I needed that other stitch, I would move over to that other machine, because that's how I'm used to commercial machines working. And in my experience, the more you mess around with a machine and change the settings on it, that's when stuff's going to start getting loose and not work well for you. These machines are super affordable, and it would absolutely be worth it to me not to have to thread and rethread. Now, I have one more comment to make about this. Like I was saying, how I like to label everything of mine. I literally, guys, I'm not even kidding. This is what I have on my machine. This is the thread that does the straight stitch. Okay, it's kind of struggling to see. This is the thread that does the top edge. This is the thread that does the bottom edge. I literally write that on my machine, just like I draw these circles. This is with Sharpie markers, because when you're in the thick of it and you've got literally 10 different machines going and one of your threads is acting weird, I want in a second just to be able to look up there. Oh, okay. It's this one. I need to just check my, check my threading on that one or whatever. And then I can find the problem super quickly. So that's like a really common thing I do. Another thing that I do is on the machines that have a knob where you can like advance it or back it up or whatever on the side, I always draw the arrow on there to indicate the direction to turn it to make it go forward, because some of them go in different directions. And so when you move from one machine to the other, sometimes you can just have a split second where you're like, oh, great, my brain is not working and I can't remember which way to turn this. And so, you know me, I'm all into time saving. So any little trick that can save me time, nobody's going to come in here and take off points because I drew on my machines. So yes, I am just that ignorant. I draw on my machines, but you know what? I sew really fast. So it works for me. I hope that these tips have helped you, and leave a comment or question down below and I would love to answer that for you. I hope I've spent enough time even just looking straight on this machine where if you had any threading questions, you can see them. But as you know, they have threading diagrams in here too. But anyways, I hope this has helped you. Please hit like, and if you hit that, like the little curvy arrow looking thing, you can share this. So you click on share and it'll give you like a link, or you can email it or whatever and send it to your sewing friends. Don't keep me a secret. I want to keep this craft alive. I want to share everything that I can with you guys. So you share with your friends and get this going here. And also hit subscribe. As you know, that means a lot to YouTube, and therefore it means a lot to me. I can keep producing these videos. Thanks a lot. Have a beautiful day.